Batman can equip and use almost every gadget he had in the previous game, with a few cosmetic changes here and there, and he can upgrade himself with almost all of the same techniques and tools he had in the last two games. Arkham Origins doesn't completely retread Arkham City, but the new gadgets you can acquire aren't very fascinating in their own ways, and there aren't many of them to begin with. When you defeat Deathstroke, you get the Remote Claw, which for 90% of your adventure will just act as a means to get you to your next location. You can also use it to get the preemptive on unassuming mooks with explosive barrels and things like that, which pleases me in ways the line launcher couldn't achieve, but again, I don't think it's that special overall. Then there's this concussive detonator, which I only think I used a grand total of once during multiple playthroughs. You throw it at a mook and it temporarily goes apeshit. Now I'll stick with batarangs, thanks. The biggest addition to Batman's arsenal has to be the shock gloves, which you get only a few hours in. Well, actually, no, this isn't a new concept to the Arkham universe, since the BAT system introduced in Arkham City Armored Edition did it first, and like Arkham Origins, made enemies a complete joke when he had enough energy to activate it. After punching enough thugs, the shock meter will build up, and when it's filled and ready to go, you can activate them, which causes Batman to get such a ridiculous increase in strength that it makes just about every single mook in this game go down very, very quickly. It doesn't matter if they're big thugs or thugs carrying riot shields, they all go down with one big bat punch. Something I don't exactly mind in the grand scheme of things, because Arkham Origins decides to bring in new types of enemies, like martial artists who can outright dodge your attacks, breaking your combat chain, and they also require an unhealthy amount of countering to effectively take down. Fucking them up with the shock gloves is almost euphoric for me. The gloves also make Batman's hands huge. I'm talking Xbox Duke controller huge. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but wait a second. There we go.
You can no longer take this game seriously.
Utilizing Batman's combat and stealth techniques feels just as accomplishing as in Arkham City, and racking up big combos with free flow always puts a grin on my face when I take out that last thug in slow motion. Nevertheless, I couldn't help but feel that enemies were more aggressive this time around. You can counter attacks like you always could, but the window of time needed to respond seemed smaller, as there were plenty of occasions where thugs got the upper hand and kicked me out of my current combo, even when I swore I pressed the counter button on time. The world of Arkham Origins, like I mentioned earlier, is pretty much a slightly larger Arkham City, and the things you can do are pretty much the same. The place is swarming with criminals and douchebags, even more so than the likes of Arkham City, which confused me at first, but then you gotta remember that this is before Batman's reputation was built, so Gotham being a hellhole before Batman made his debut makes sense in that regard. Anyway, you can deactivate time bombs to stop the likes of Anarchy, who is pretty much this game's Zaz, only not as tedious. You can stop crimes in progress for experience and achievements, or solve case files, which requires extensive use of detective mode. Seeing Batman reconstruct the scene of the crime is pretty cool, but having the feature to rewind or fast forward the reenactment of the crime is probably the best part for me. There's something very hypnotic about watching a man repeatedly getting smashed by a thrown save over and over again. Side quests also include taking out some of the assassins that are after Batman, or facing an entirely different villain altogether that has other plans, like Enigma, who's just the Riddler before actually taking up that persona. And just like the Riddler from Arkham City, there's a shitload of collectibles to obtain before you're able to bring them down, which include network relays to break, certain mooks to interrogate for data pack locations, and a humongous amount of searching. Deactivating Enigma's comm tower interference, on the other hand, does allow you to get an access point for your Batwing, so you can immediately travel to that area in case you don't feel like gliding all over the place, so we have that. Considering the sheer size of Gotham City in this game, I'm grateful for this, though watching the same repeated loading screen of Batman flying to the designated location makes me wish we at least had some music to accompany it. Gotham City, despite the criminals, feels very empty. Apparently because of inclement weather or curfew or something like that, every citizen in Gotham City has been issued to stay home, leaving the streets completely barren with a sporadic group of mooks, crooked cops, and the occasional ninja. I'm not asking for much, I just would have liked to have other people to talk or interact with, especially with a world this big. You can fly back to the Batcave at any point and talk with Alfred, and their conversations can be pretty fun at times.
I feel terrible, Sam. I prepared such a lovely ham for you tonight, and now you'll never have a chance to eat it.
We can have it tomorrow.
It's just nuts.
Christmas ham on Christmas morning isn't exactly the end of the world.
I don't know, sir. I'd say it's pretty close.
I know Batman's supposed to be the loner, especially at this point of his career, but with me being the player, I would have liked some goofier fun interactions with something.